Hello dear friends, welcome to this program, our moments with God, our moments with the Word of God, our moments with the love, mercy and compassion of God, our moments also with the holy ones of God. And I have noticed that some of you viewers are quite interested in the lives of saints, as once in a while when there is an important saint I give a little description of their lives. I suppose you are also inspired by the example of their lives, and all that can happen and conversion can happen when we also get in touch with ourselves, our inner selves, and try to follow their lives. And I invite you to be co-missionaries with me by simply sharing the videos with your friends, relatives, and asking them also to subscribe so that we reach more people. Thank you. Today, the Church remembers the feast of Saint Elizabeth of Hungary. Elizabeth of Hungary was the daughter of a king and was married at a very early age of 14. So you can imagine, I don't know in how big her palace was, whether it was like this, but this is one part of a beautiful building. And that time also you can imagine being married at the age of 14, it was almost like child marriage. But then this was way back in 1200. She was born in 1207, so she got married around 1222 or so, when she was just 14 years old, 21. And of course, she lived in the palace of King Louis IV, to whom she was married. But right from the beginning, she had love for the poor. And unfortunately, her husband died a few years after her marriage, when she was just 20, that is 6 years after their marriage. He died. And she dedicated her total life for the poor. But as soon as her husband died, the family of her husband threw out her and her children from the palace. But she was totally dedicated to the poor and serving them, and somehow legally she didn't have to fight, but her children were the heir to the throne. So they were taken back into the palace. And when she was taken back into the palace, she continued to serve the poor. And there is a legend that once, when she was carrying things in her mantle for the poor, her husband wanted to see what she was carrying. And when she opened the mantle, all that she was carrying turned into roses. And her husband smiled and took one of the roses and kept for the rest of his life that rose with him, and told her to continue her mission for the poor. And though she died so young, she herself used to go to the hospitals. Men take care of the wounds and sores of the sick people, and used to apply balm or ointment, and herself clean the wounds and help bandage it. That's why Elizabeth sisters here in Europe are quite famous to run hospitals. Several Elizabethan sisters run hospitals. She died only at the age of 24, and even then she is recognized as a saint for the poor. Actually, these lives are so inspiring. And sometimes I wonder that we misunderstand the rich, that they only take care of themselves and their interests, which is of course true in the world, but there are also examples of such rich people. And on Saturday here in Austria, we celebrated the feast of Saint Leopold, who also lived sometime in the 11th century. He was a very kind king. He lived also for 40 years. He reigned this thing in Austria. He was born in Austria and lived in Austria. But he is so well known for his charitable things. He established many monasteries here and gave away a lot to the poor and the church, and reigned with justice. So there are several examples of kings and queens here in Europe, where they showed us the life of poverty and doing things for the poor, even though they might have lived in grand palaces and things like that, it did not affect their lives. And my dear friends, in the gospel we find how a blind man was begging as Jesus was passing, "Lord, have mercy on me." And people tried to stop him from crying, but Jesus called him and asked him, "What can I do for you?" And he said, "May I see?" And Jesus told him, "Go, your faith has saved you," and he received the sight. We too can ask Jesus to give us the spiritual sight to look into our spiritual life, and like Saint Elizabeth of Hungary, also be available for the poor as well as to take care of their souls and their physical needs. And if you like, you may please subscribe to this channel, and also please don't forget to write your comments below in the comment box. Thank you.